see. Did that work at all? It says I'm live. I think we are. Wow. That's actually working. Okay, and I can see the chat there. Oh my god. It was such a long time ago. I hope I don't mess anything up. This should be fine. Am I muted? I think that's fine too. Okay. We are back with Facecam. Jesus Christ. We are back. It's been a long time, but yeah, now we're streaming again. And we're gonna be working on the old project. The old Stranded Tribes project. There's probably not gonna be any viewers this first stream. 0 right now, but we'll see. Probably next stream or something, because I still have 200 something subscribers on YouTube, but I don't think that's anybody that's still active, so we'll see. But I have some things that I want to start off. This is the first devlog, the first day that we're working on this. So I have some stuff here, just some starting stuff. This is gonna be we're gonna do some item management with picking up stuff and some GUI. Hopefully we can get through all this, but yeah, we'll see. Also new with this face cam stuff, so I don't know if this is correct, if I should have it in the left lower corner or if this is fine just as it is. I've created some models inside of Blender. I didn't create the log on my computer here, but it is in the game. I did make it. So planning to just create like a collection service based thing. Can I have the chat on the left side? Is that possible? I want to be able to show you that. Go. Ooh. Okay. Don't want to end stream. Let's see if sound is working and everything. I want to be able to show you that. Go. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so that audio is working. Great. It's apparently excellent. Let's keep that there just in case. Okay. Okay, let's start. So, I'm probably just gonna get right ahead and beforehand I have, oh yeah, and we're gonna be making this in Visual Studio Code or the cursor fork, because it's a bit more helpful with AI now. There's a bunch more stuff we can do. I've just created a command system, so if you hit F2, we have commander package right here. We can get, we have some profile commands. I'm using profile store, and then we have, yeah, we basically just have a basic setup for that. So thinking we start right ahead with our tag system. So I also created a tag system beforehand, so it's going to be a lot easier for us to create different systems that we're going to need. Also, I started a bit early because the stream, but yeah, that should be fine. So let's go ahead. I think I'm going to do a proximity based pickup system. So for that, let's just go ahead and create. I wonder if we're gonna do a client-based thing. I think that's probably gonna be good. So we have server and shared. I'm just gonna go into systems. Let's see, hold up. Okay. Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and create a new one for items right here. Actually, I can just create a straight up tag for item. Or we can call it... Actually, let's create a folder for items. And let's go ahead and create a pickupable down the road. And let's call it pickupable shared. Just like so. And just create a class component and call it pickupable. And then we're gonna get the pickupable right here. So item model or pickupable model. Just like so. Let's go ahead and just print that first. So I'm gonna print the pickupable model. And let's tag these two. So let's say pickupable. And we're not getting anything. Let's see here. I might have not set up this properly. So we have the init client. Let's see. Shared services, tags, client. Yes, this is the classes folder. Let's see. Print here. Let's see that it gets to there. It does. Oh yeah, right. I can't name it pickupable shared because then it will not work because we need the module name of the actual tag. So now we're getting these two. You can see that they're pointing to the correct thing. So when we got this, I am gonna go ahead and do a streamable, or I'm gonna do a trove first. So let's do a local trove. Self_trove is a trove.new. Now let's go down here. Let's actually add it up here. So trove is going to be trove.trove. Here we're going to say self_trove destroy. And then we're going to make a streamable. So we're going to do local primary stream equals streamable, and we're actually going to do self_trove add a streamable.streamable.primary for the pickupable model, and then we're going to say self_trove add primary stream observe function. No, not you, Siri. Okay. And here we should see that the primary part is added. So you can click just print that. And if we join, it should print both of the root parts if we didn't have an error. I got that. We have one viewer. Wow. Number one, Fast Plays YT. Hello. How are you? Okay, so we're getting both of the primary parts. That's great. Let's go ahead and... So I'm gonna use Fusion for our instance creating and like UI elements and stuff, because it's easy with the scopes and stuff. So let's do a scope, fusion.scope. This is actually easier as a type of scope. There we go. Exactly. And this has a do cleanup method. And here we do stuff. So we're creating the proximity param here. New proximity prompt. And let's just have the action text say pickup for now. Let's do that. And we can add a on event here. the keyboard too loud? What are you making? I am making a survival game. This is a old project that I've tried to make on this. I have previous devlogs on a previous like version of this game, but this is a newer version. I just started it. I'm in a blank base plate. Just started it up. On events, I'm gonna check for a triggered. But yeah, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be inspired by Booga Booga. It's but it's gonna be like a team-based survival game, like a tribe-based survival game with like crafting mechanics and PvP and stuff like that. Let's print pickup triggered. See where that goes. So now we should get, okay, yeah. So we probably have to say requires line of sight, false. There we go. Because that can be a bit annoying. Next game should be a simulator, maybe. I've made a lot of simulators, but who knows? Oh yeah, we gotta set the parent, of course. Making simulators is fun, but yeah, just trying something new, you know? So here we have the pickup prompt and print pickup. Great, great, great. So let's send a event to the server. So I'm gonna create a system for that. Items, and we got items shared remotes. WO. Let's create a module base. Do I have that? No, I forgot to add that. Oh well. Items shared remotes. Actually, that's a weird name. What's called item shared remotes? When does this game come out? Wow. I just started today. That is very hard to say. How about next year? What was your recently similar game that you're making me think? The recent simulator I made. What was that? I can't even remember. I think it was a pet simulator. No, it was probably one of those, you know those like build a boat or like build a plane and you like try to get as far as possible and then you like upgrade your boat. It's like a build a boat game. It was kind of similar, or a simulator like. I can show you the game. It's called, let's see. Here we go. Build a car train. You've probably seen it 1 or 2 times. Yeah, build a car train. It should be public right now. It has fairly a lot of visitors. But no active players anymore, surprisingly. That trend kind of fell off. Yeah, I think that's the latest simulator I've done, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, let's send a remote event. So let's create a should remotes dot pick up. Let's do a remote function. So pick up attempt. It's going to be net remote event pick up attempt. There we go. You played it? Build a car train? Wow. Or you're gonna play it now? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Okay, item shared remotes dot pickup attempt fire server. Or this would be invoke server. Did I not create a remote event? Okay, remote function. That's what we want. Invoke server. And then, yeah, we're just gonna send the pickup model, because that we'll see how that actually goes. Let's go to the server service here. Let's create a item server service. Let's go item server service. I'll have to excuse the Steam notifications. Let's see if I can just exit out of that. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that exits Blender too. Oh well. Did I cancel that in time? Let me see. Let me turn those notifications off. And just turn off every single notification. Wow, Steam has a lot of notifications. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that works. Okay, so now we're gonna listen for that event right there. Also let me know if the music's too loud or if my keyboard is too loud, because then I will change the volume of it. I will try my best. Net handle the pickup attempt, and then yeah, let's just return true for now. And let's go ahead and remove the model. And we'll do a assert just to check if it's actually a valid model. And so that the player isn't sending a blank model. Or like a, so they aren't sending something that doesn't exist. Let's try to pick up that. Okay, that works. Nice. Let's go ahead and... Do you have a pet simulator type of game? I do. I do. Oh boy, do I do. It's called Pet Hatching Simulator 2? Can't remember, it was a while ago I worked on that. Oh my god. It's the same devs here. Here we go. This game I worked on. Pet Hatchers 2. Wonderful game. Also 0 active players. Wow. We fell off. That's another studio that I'm working with. I'm also working on a new game with them, but I can't really spoil anything of that just yet. But that is in the works. Okay. So now we should add that to the player inventory. So also we gotta check so that the player can actually pick up this item. Let's go ahead and cast a ray cast. We're gonna get the little character, which is going to be player.character. If not character, then we're gonna return. If not humanoid, then or humanoid dot health is oh god, health is less than 1, then we're also gonna return. We'll check it out. Okay, nice. So next we're gonna check this. We're gonna get a result, which is gonna be a raycast results. So workspace raycast to from the character get pivot dot position, and then to I'm gonna get the direction here. So direction is going to be the pickup dot primary position. Yep, exactly. And then we're gonna need like a reach. Let's just hard code that for now. Reach. Oh yeah, max pickup distance. Set that to 10. And it might the model might not have a primary part, so we'll say if not primary part, then return false as well. Direction times pickup distance. If not result, then return. Let's do this. Direction times max pickup distance. We'll say if result and result.instance is equal to the pickup model, then we're gonna go ahead and do this. Actually, let's say if not result or this is not equal to that, then we're gonna return false. There we go. So now, okay, there seems to be something wrong. Or instance, let's say, or not result, yeah, exactly, is a descendant of the pickup model. But we might actually be hitting ourself. Okay, well, that's working. So now we shouldn't be able to pick it up through a wall, which is going to be pretty crucial. Hello, hello, Dabe dog as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So now if I try to pick up through a wall, it doesn't work. And if you go to the other side, it gets picked up. Okay, what is that weird glitch there? I think it's just the prompt glitching. I think that's the Roblox bug. Yeah. Oh. The pickupping is a bit weird sometimes. We might have to ignore the character for this, so let's say params is going to be raycast params.new, and only, no, we won't include, we'll exclude, and then we'll exclude the character, so character, get descendants, or just character. And we can have params up there. Now, that should be a lot more smoother. Let's try with a bunch of items just laying around, because this should be a fairly quick system, because there's going to be times where there's a lot of items on the ground and you don't want it to bug out. Let's just try that. Yep, that works nicely. I would like a highlight on them though, when we hover over it. So we're probably just going to create a tag for the prompt. Let's do that. So inside of our shared tags here, I'm going to make a new folder for prompt, or prompts, and then we'll create a highlighted prompt. Down the blue, create a class for that. Once again, do let me know if my keyboard is too loud or if the music is too loud, then I will try my best to change that. This is my first streaming, or my first stream in a good while, so I might mess things up, we'll see. We'll say self scope equals fusion scoped. Gotta get fusion. There we go. And then set that down here. Self cleanup. Add that right there. And now let's go ahead and hydrate. So self underscore scope hydrate. And then the prompt. Let's get some events up here. On event. And here we're gonna say on events. Let's see, prompts have a, I forgot what that event is called. Is it hidden? Oh yeah, prompt hidden and prompt shown. Yeah, that's right, okay. Oh. And prompt hidden. There we go. So let's go ahead and create a soft underscore. We'll do a local temporary trove. Or should we do it as a... Let's just do this. Let's do self underscore trove is trove.new. Just like so. And let's create a temporary trove. So temporary trove is going to be the self trove add trove.new. There we go. Let's add that as well. And remember to clean it up. And then the temp trove we can add self scope new highlight parent prompt, and then here we say temporary trove clean. So now if we walk up to the prompt, it should, okay, it does not do that. Let's say prompt.parent for that. Okay, it might be that we need a target value for it. Oh, right, wait, I'm dumb. We need a... let's see. Right, we're gonna add a tag to this. So let's do a local prompt equals this right here. Prompt add tag, and then a highlighted prompt. Pet Hatchers 99. I think that name is already taken. Sorry to break it to you. Okay, that is working. Valid pairs table expected got nil. Table expected got nil. New. I think it's because let's see. Playlist as props. Temporary trove add self scope. New highlight. Why is that not working? Or why is that given an error? It's when I go off from it and the prompt gets removed? No, it's just this that gets cleaned. New highlight. What if we just keep it there? Is it something? Okay, right. I think I know the issue. Okay, so now it doesn't go away. But if we add it to our temporary trove, like that. There we go. Now it's going in and out. And I actually want a different styling on the highlights, so I'm just going to set the fill color to color3.new 111, which is a white. There we go, much nicer. And we can probably set that to occluded as well, so what is that called again? Let's see, highlight. Oh my god, that is very red. Depth mode. Occluded. Perfect. So basically it makes it so that it doesn't show in front of our character. So that's a bit annoying. So that is that done. Perfect. So that is that. Inventory and picking up. So let's add it to the player's inventory. Let's do that by creating, I think I already have the inventory table for the profile. Yeah. So let's go ahead and inside for item service right here, we're going to give the player the item. So let's go ahead and make a function for item server service dot give player item. Exactly. Let's call this the item key. And here we're going to get their profile. So we're going to say local profile is going to be profile server service. Get profile for the player. I'm going to say if not profile, then return. And sure, we can return a boolean just to see if it succeeded or not. And here we're going to return true. And now we're going to say profile server service update player key, which is going to be inventory, and then our callback. Oh god. Right. And then we say current value. Item key is the current value, item key or 0 plus 1. And we're probably going to put an amount here as well. And change that to amount. Perfect. Return the current value, and there we go. So that should also update the client, because the way that we have our profile system, it should sync to the client, hopefully. It does. Yes. Okay. Nice. So let's now go ahead and actually let's test this out. So I'm gonna go and pick up a rock or a stone and a log, and then we're gonna go into our little plugin here, our data store plugin. Okay, so the Steam notifications are not working. That's a bit annoying. I'll put this in the center. And there we go. Okay, it is empty though. So it does not seem to have saved for some weird reason. Right, because we could actually call it. So, and we probably gotta double check so that we actually have information for this item. So inside of our shared systems, I'm going to create a data folder, and inside of there I'm going to say item shared info or config. Is that item shared config? Let's do item shared config. Return that. Actually, let's return a table. Oh god. Local items table. Let's create a log. And yeah, a name, sure. And that's all we're gonna do with that right now. And let's also do a stone. Exactly. Let's also do a helper function. So helper functions, get item key. Yeah, that should be good. And then get item right there. Let's create a types folder. So item shared types. Don't know. Okay, just return a blank table right there. Expert type item, and we'll just have a name for that right now. And then this is going to refer to the item shared types dot item. And there we go. And I don't think, let's make that lowercase and remove the self there. We don't need that. And here we can just say item shared config. And then we say dot get item. Perfect. Now let's get that. So we're gonna check assert item shared config dot get item. Oh. Let's make sure that is lowercase there as well. Nice. Get item, and then the pickupable model dot name, and then that. Perfect. Okay. And then it's gonna assert if the item doesn't exist, then we say item not found, so that the player is not able to pick up any items that don't exist in our configs. Next, let's give the player the item. So just like so, that should be fairly easy. So now let's see if that actually works. So I'm gonna pick up a rock and a log, exit the game. So that saves our data. And boom, we got a log and a stone. And it says 1 on both. And if I pick up a log, for example, leave the game again, and I should now have 2 logs. Perfect. Okay. Exactly what we wanted. This is going smoothly. I don't want to jinx anything, but this is going very smoothly. Okay. So inside of shared services, I'm wondering if I'm gonna do UI inside of Roblox Studio or if I'm just gonna do it with code. I think I'm gonna do it with code. That's what I rely on most of the time. Yeah, we're probably gonna do that. Also, excuse my chair, it is very squeaky. I need to get an A1. Okay, let's create item client service. W. And actually, I do want to rename these to client remotes. I should probably do that actually. Let's do that. Client remotes. So now we need new references. Item client types. Just like so. Very nice. Let's see so that we don't have any errors. We might actually get an error from this. Let me just create a service template. There we go. Okay, we are getting errors. The item shared config. Actually, I would need to have this called shared config because the server is also going to use that. Types. We might actually just. I just did all this for nothing. Whatever. Because these are going to be shared. These two things. So now no errors. Okay, errors. Okay, the remotes are going to be client though, so that is correct. Let's go to the pickupable because I think that's, yeah, this is the problem where it lies. Perfect, perfect. No more errors. Nice. Okay. So inside of start, we're going to reference our profile client service, and we're going to observe the profile data value. We're going to observe the inventory, and yeah, exactly. Let's print the inventory, just like so. And we should get a table with our 2 logs and our 1 stone. Perfect. Okay. So the question is, where are we gonna have the GUI? I'm probably gonna set up some sides for our GUI so that we can organize things easier later. And I might just put the inventory on the left for now. I'm just gonna put it on the right. That's what I did in the other game. I put it on the right, so I'm probably gonna keep that. So let's go into shared, create UI, a GUI table, create one for components, and one for templates. Oh, there we go. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's just make the GUI instead of Roblox Studio. I'll make it a big decision, and we're doing that. We're doing it. We'll call this main, or the HUD. Create a frame. Let's make the right side first. So 1.5, and let's say on position 1.5. 1 on the y-axis and 0.2 on the x-axis. Oh, not like that. Other way around. There we go. Set that to 1. Let's put that inside a folder. Inside a folder. Call it sides. And call this the right side. Or just right. Let's create a UI list layout so we can keep things organized. Horizontal alignment is going to be right. Vertical alignment is going to be the center. And then we're going to create a frame. The size looks good. Let's go into our unit conversion. Another plugin. Let's call it inventory should I combine the inventory and the crafting side? Should I keep that? Let's just have the inventory for now, and we might change that later on. Let's go ahead and paste in one of those. Let's call this main. And this is going to go from the right side. So it expands out from here if we animate it. Probably not going to animate it today, but we'll see. Then we insert another frame, last frame, and this is going to be the backdrop. Now the question is, what kind of design do we want to do for a GUI here? I usually go with something like this. I don't know. Are we gonna go with like something rounded? Like that? I do kind of like that. Let's add some UI padding to the right side there. Something like that. And a UI aspect ratio, of course. Oh, aspect ratio constraint. There we go. Let's put that in. Yeah, let's keep it there. Let's create image button. Size 1. Why is that a bit out of scale? I see. There we go. Let's call this interact. Let's set the background transparency to 1. Image is going to be nothing for now. And I'm just going to have a text that says backpack for now. Actually, should I find an icon or make one? We might just make an icon. Let's make an icon. Let's go to sprite. Oh, is there a dark mode on this? Is there a dark mode? Because my screen is very bright. Dark mode. There we go. Perfect. Let's make a new file. Let's make it 16 by 16. Okay, what does a backpack look like? I need like a backpack reference. Let's go to Pinterest. Or a backpack sketch. Something like that. Something like this would be cool. I don't think I'm gonna put this on my other screen right here. Oh no, where did the chat go? Uh-oh. I'm just gonna pull up the YouTube chat, not gonna lie. There we go. Okay, nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this backpack right here. Probably gonna need a bigger plight. Canvas size. Let's do 32 by 32. Perfect. So let's do like a black outline first. This is probably going to take a bunch of tries because I am not a designer. I'm not good with pixel art, so, but we'll see where this goes. Let's do one of those. something like this. You need to at least see that it's a backpack. That's what I'm aiming for. Then we do like the flap down here. Okay. And then like a little one of these. This looks kind of weird on here. We need one that goes out like that. And then see if we can color this like a brown. Let's make this a bit darker. We need like a bump out here so it doesn't look so flat. And then we need like some right here. Get that as the same color. Like that. Put some shadows on here. So a lighter color up here. Give this strap here some thickness. Let's make it like even darker down here. Like that. And then this part is gonna be a bit darker too. Nice. Only this part. Okay, we need something here. I feel it's too empty. Let's go ahead and bring something like this over. These are a bit too bright, so I don't like the bright color of that. So in the image, there's like something like this. Goes down. Like all the way down here. And then we have some sort of kind of just looks like a cross. Probably just gonna ignore that detail right there. There we go. That's a bit better. Let's give it some colored outlines now. Let's give this like a bit darker tone and put that as the bottom part here. Let's do this, but very dark. This, but very dark. Nice. Looking nice. Okay, I think those are a bit important. Those black lines in here. Otherwise, I think this should be good for now. This is probably something I'm going to change later, but for now, I think we should be good. Yeah. Place it in the middle. We have to trim this image too. Actually, I wonder what a second layer of outline would look like. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool, but way too thick. Okay, let's save this as a backpack. Oh, and before we do that, before we export it, let's trim that and save that again, and then export it as a backpack PNG. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna create a image label right here. Set the size to 1, background is posted to 1, and get that image. Let's hope it doesn't look absolutely awful. I mean, not too bad. But yeah, probably gonna change that later. Or some other time, but for now, that's good. Let's have like a keybind thingy for that as well. I'll set it to 0.9. Boom. Let's add a text. Set it to 0.51. Yeah, no, 0.50. And the position 0.51. There we go. Set size to 1 on X and 0.1 on Y. Let's say 0.2 on Y. Text scaled 1 in the color. What text should we use? Dank one? Kinda like that, but what would fit a survival game? So let's strip this. I think this one, not gonna lie. That one is pretty nice. Let's go with that one. What was that? Patrick Hand? Sure. Okay. So let's create the inventory frame now. So this is going to be the side button, basically. Now let's go ahead and create a folder. So insert folder for frames. Let's create a frame server. Call it inventory. Oh yeah, and inside of our Trello, I'm gonna bring this over again. We can now check off this. Also, all of these have ran out now, but it doesn't really matter. So now the inventory GUI, that's what we're doing right now. Yeah. Perfect. Oh no! Wait! I forgot to turn that off! Damn it! I sat for that for like 20 minutes. Oh my god, you haven't seen the progress at all. But yeah, made this backpack icon. It's whatever. It's good. Goddamn. Okay, it really shows that I just came back to fucking streaming. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let's make this inventory frame. Let's insert a frame. Set it to size 1. Let's do. This is probably gonna close or like hide the side menu when we actually open the inventory. So it's gonna be pretty big here. There we go. 1 on the Y. Yeah, let's set like 0.9 on the Y. And then like 0.2 as well. 2, 0.3. There we go. Set that. Space to 1. This is going to be back. Drop. Let's copy this backdrop actually. There we go. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Let's place it a bit from the side so it's not. Is it 0.97, 0.98 maybe? Yeah. Let's do that for now. And let's tag this with inventory. So inventory or let's tag this with menu. We're gonna create a menu system. Menu ID, and let's call it the inventory. So now we're going to create a tag for the inventory button. So let's add a tag, call it a menu toggle button. Let's add a menu ID, set that to inventory. There we go. Let's also, actually, let's have this say G. I'm gonna hide this for now. I'm just gonna have this right here. Let's actually have this on the left side. Let's set that to the horizontal of left. And have that on the left because that's player 5. Oh my god. I'm having like a cough attack. Crazy. Okay. So that is going to have a menu toggle button, and we have a menu tag right there. Let's create a shared menu client service. So let's create a menu client service down below. Let's create a service template, menu client service. And then inside of systems and tags, and then we're gonna create a folder for menus, or just menus. And then we're going to create a menu tag. We're probably going to expand this with like specific menus later, but for now we're just going to have menu. This is going to get us the, let's say, local player only, false, or true. Let's see, have I implemented the local player only? I do. No, I have not. Okay. Let's see. Let's go menu, which is going to be frame. I'm going to say if not menu is descendant of player, it's going to be players dot local player dot player GUI. We're going to wait for child player GUI. Then we're just going to return self. Just like so. Else we're going to print the menu, and hopefully this should print out our menu. So yeah, we got inventory right there. And then we're gonna make a function for menu client service dot add menu self menu client service, and then the menu as a frame. And then the class, which is going to be a menu, I'm just going to say a table for now, with any inside of it. Actually, let's create a types folder for that. So systems, let's go menu, menus, let's do a menus shared or menu shared types. Let's do return a blank table. We'll do a expert type menu class. And for now, yeah, it's gonna have a new, it's gonna have a destroy. And then it's going to have a shown, which is going to be a fusion.value boolean. There we go. Perfect. So the class is going to be a menu shared types dot menu class. There we go. Let's do local menu ID. It's going to be the menu get attributes menu ID. Assert menu ID. Menu ID is required. And in initializer, we're going to say self_scope. Let's just say scope. Fusion scoped. I'm going to say scope. Add, or no, we're going to do a self_menus is going to be scope value and then a table. Just like that. Let's create a table just like so. Menus is going to be fusion value string pointing to a menu class. Perfect. Let's actually do this. We're going to do a table class and then the instance, which is going to be a frame. Nice. For your local menus or menus state, it's going to be peak. Should make that as a variable. Peak self.menus. And then we're going to say menu ID. Perfect, exactly. And let's do one for remove menu, which is going to be one that is destroyed. Yeah, that should be like that. Let's have a get menu. Perfect. We'll just return that. Get menu data. Like so. And it's going to return the table. Let's actually do a expert type menu data. Like so. Perfect. Let's do a function for menu client service dot observe menu self menu. Actually, we don't need that yet. Let's just do this. Let's have one for function menu client service dot open menu ID. Inside of the menu, we're gonna have a self.show. It's going to be a scope, which we're gonna say up here. Let's say fusion scoped, like so. Move you down there. Self, oh, my bad. There we go. scope, and it's going to be a type of fusion scope. Like so. Oh my god, we've already been live for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Crazy. I'm probably gonna be live for like, I don't wanna say anything, but I think like 2 to 3 hours, hopefully. So I don't know how much we're actually gonna get done with this, but we'll see. So now we're gonna say self._scope, and then hydrate our menu, and we're gonna say visible is going to be self.show. So that should all pair together nicely, hopefully. So let's close that, and let's do get menu data. If not menu data, then return. Let's do, actually, let's do that. We're going to say menu data.class.shown set true. We're going to have one for close menu, and then we're going to have a function for toggle menu. Exactly. And then we're going to say peak, not :get. There we go. Okay. Finally. Okay, so now we can get to our actual menu button. So we have the tag called menu toggle button. So let's create a new tag actually, or a new category. It's called buttons. Let's call this one menu toggle button. .load. We can close that. Class template, menu toggle button. We're gonna get the interact, or the button itself. So button, which is going to be a GY button. We're gonna say self scope. Yep, exactly. And then add that here. Fusion scoped. And we're gonna clean it up. Remember to clean it up. We're gonna hydrate the button. Wow, this autocorrect is hitting right now. Private variables, let's say local on events. On events. Oh, my bad. Wait, no, this should. Ooh. Because now we can say on events activated. It's going to be equal to a function, and then we just say menu, or menu client service toggle menu button get attribute menu ID. And we're not sure that if this is a tag, if this is a string, so we're just going to do that right there. Boom. So now, when we press that, it should hopefully open up our menu, but it does not. Okay. Let's check so that it gets to there. It does, okay. And we do have the menu ID for inventory. And this has the menu tag and the menu ID of inventory. So that should be fine. Go to this method right here. Might be because, oh yeah, I know why. Inside of the menu tag, we need to actually call this. We need to do menu, client service, add menu, and then the menu and self. Boom. And now we get the menu. We can open and close it. Perfect. Let's now create our actual item templates. So within here, I'm going to create a scrolling frame. I'm going to leave it down here. Let's just do this. Let's do 0.5 and 0, 0.5 and 0.2. 0.2 is a bit too far. 0.1, 0.15. There we go. Background transparency 1. Size. There we go. Perfect. You might actually want to keep this up here above that little corner there so it doesn't look strange. And I'm going to keep it up there too. Perfect. Call this contents. And I'm also going to tag this with inventory menu. Like that. Let's create a frame. And let's also create a UI grid layout. So now when we duplicate these, they go, they have a layout. Let's call this item template, or just item. Background transparency, set that to 1. Get the backdrop. Actually, let's insert another frame. Let's duplicate this, put it in here. Size 1, position 5 and 5. Call it main. Insert the backdrop into there. It's clipping a bit in the roof there, so we're gonna add some padding. Top 0.01. That's on the left too. 0.01. 0.03. So now, I think I want like. Let's see how big we actually want this. Let's set it to 0.2. We gotta have a UI aspect ratio on those. Okay, so Y needs to be way down. Should we do, I think 4 items is good on each row. 0.1, 0.05. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's do 0.04. And then on the Y, let's do 0.04 as well. We need 0.01 probably. Even further down. It might actually be because if I set this to 0, yeah. We need a bit less on the Y here. There we go. Perfect. So now we have our items frame right there. It's a bit too far. It's a bit too close to the edge here. Something like that. Nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and add a view profile to this. Scale it to 1. And then we're going to add a text label. Probably just going to copy this one. There we go. No, X. I want to put that on bold for the item quantity. Actually, yeah, it looks good on bold. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe a little more thickness on the stroke. And then I'm happy with text we got. Yes. Let's also have a item. So let's name this quantity. Let's name this to name. Yeah, that should be good. And then we can have this like log. Bit too small. When you hover over it, it's going to show the log or the text, so you know what actual item it is. But let's set that visible to false for now. And let's tag these with a... Let's not tag it with a item yet. Oh, I gotta stretch. And let's also make this not visible for now. Boom. So now, in the code, whoopsie, we can go into the menus, and then we can create a folder. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So now we can actually say menus, or should we call it components? No, we'd probably call it, let's just call it menus. Menus inside of menus. Great. Inventory menu. I don't actually know if this is gonna work. Because, okay, yeah, it's not. Because this is a... We're probably just gonna bring this... Oh wait, no. This is not inside of tags. We need to bring this into tags. Let's see if that does anything. There we go. Inventory. And should have our inventory frame. Yes, great. Okay, so now we have the inventory frame. Let's find the contents folder. So local contents is going to be menu, find first child, contents. I'm just going to give it out a scrolling frame. And then we're gonna get the item template. So local item template is going to be contents, find for child item. There we go. And then I'm going to go through all of our players' items. So now is where that comes in. So we're going to say observers. No, we're going to say profile client service, pro or observe profile data value, and then the inventory. Yes, exactly. We're going to do this. And we're also going to have a cleanup method. Let's do that. So local inventory trove is going to be trove.new. And let's go ahead and create a trove for this as well. Just self._trove is trove.new. And we're going to add that here. So self._trove add. We can do extend. Is that just an extended trove? Wow, I just learned something new. That is crazy. Add item frame. And then we say clean, just like so. And down here we destroy our trove. Let's add that up here as well. So trove W. Exactly. Let's see, what is happening here? Your microphone is muted but has no signal. Oh, okay. That was before. Okay. I had some warning. So now this should be good. Let's also let's add a tag to this. So we're gonna do item frame. Actually, let's go ahead and just test this out to see if it actually creates something. And let's do item frame.visible is true. So now we should see, oh, null with name, item.name. Right, here we have the item key and then the amount, or the quantity. So we're just going to set this to the item key. And now we can see we have 2 item slots and they have a lot of amounts and we don't really know what is what, but it's creating 2 items, which is for our log and our stone, so that is correct. But now we're going to fill out the actual information. So now we need the main frame, so we'll say local main frame. It's going to be item frame for child main. Quantity label is going to be the main frame for child name. We're going to have a local name label. It's going to be for child name. Exactly. And this is going to say .x. So item client service, we would do item shared config dot get item and then item key dot name. Perfect. And now let's also go ahead and do item frame add tag item template. It's item template. And before that, we're gonna set that after item template. Or yeah, inventory item. Let's name it that. Nice. Okay. Tags. We're gonna create menu. I'm gonna do one for inventory. And just have the inventory menu instead of there. And also the inventory item.row. We're gonna create a class. We're gonna get inventory item. And then we're gonna get the item frame, which is going to be a frame. We're gonna do a scope. That is right. And then we're going to say local main frame is going to be a main. We're going to say local interact button. It's going to be interact button, and this is going to be a GUI button. And then we're going to say exactly. We're going to say on events, which is going to be an event right there. I'll just print out interact for now. And this is gonna hydrate the interact button. So let's see what that does. Okay, we got an error. Hydrate instance, discussion, scope missing. Did I create a interact frame? I did not, okay. That explains a lot. Provide a scope. Oh, it's just interact, not interact button. There we go. So now if I press these, oh, what? Oh, I see. but it does print interact, so that's correct. But I did have the menu toggle, which we're not gonna have for an item. But yeah, there we go. But we're not gonna use, actually we are, but let's skip that for now. Let's do a mouse enter and mouse leave. And then we're gonna say local hovering is going to be scope value false for now. Let's do local name label, and then let's do self._scope hydrate. Scope hydrate name label. And then we're gonna say visible is going to be hovering. Just like so. And here we're gonna say hovering set true and hovering set false. And that should be good. So now once we hover the button, it's going to say the name of the item. But now we want to also be able to see the viewport. That is equally as important, if not more. So I think I want to create a separate tag for that. So instead of the viewport frame, I'm going to call this item view. I'm going to call I'm going to create a tag for item viewport. And I'm going to have, actually let's not have that yet. Let's say local item viewport. Item view. So the main frame. Let's do item viewport add tag. First let's set the attribute to the item view key, item.name, and then set the item viewport tag to it. There we go. Let's go ahead and create a new tag. So tag for, let's just create a general tag. Or actually, let's create one for viewports. We're gonna call this item viewport.loader. Class item viewport. And we're gonna say viewport, which is gonna be a viewport frame. And the item view key, exactly. And we can get the item right there. So item shared config. And now we probably want a model for that. So let's go to the systems, items, and the shared item config. And I'm going to create some models for these. So I'm just going to copy them and make a folder instead of assets called folder models. Another folder called items. And just paste those into there. Nice. I'll say model is replicate storage dot assets dot models dot items dot log. There we go. And then that's going to be the same but for stone. Let's make a helper function for get item model. It's going to be fairly easy to just do. Item model is going to be get item model. And then the key. Right, I can actually add it as here. Item, item config, add it down there. There we go. So first thing we're gonna do is clone the model. Then we're gonna parent it to the viewport. We're gonna create I want to say self_scope is going to be fusion scoped. Scoped. Let's do self_scope new camera. And then we're going to do C-frame. Actually, we're going to pivot. So we're going to do item model, pivot to C-frame.new 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to pivot the camera to the model. So C-frame equals the item model get pivot. And then we're going to say times C-frame dot angles 0 math.rad 180 and then 0. And then we're gonna do times again C-frame.new and then that. And we're just gonna do that right there. Let's test that out. Let's also do this. I'm gonna move this up. Select underscore true.new. Something like that. Okay. So it is there, but it is inside of the thing for some reason. We do this. Get pivot times C-frame.new. What if we try just this? Because that means we're just backing up from it, but that means we're behind the item. Okay, still no. Right, because we gotta set the viewport dot current camera. Current camera is going to be equal to our camera, so let's make a reference to the camera. So look at camera and just set that right there. Okay, nothing showing. There we go. So now we have the item right there. And let's do, instead of -10, we're gonna do the item model that's set divided by 2. And that, right, we can't just do that. We gotta do size dot magnitude. Or get extent size dot magnitude. That is going to be very large. So let's do dot y divided by 2. Let's test that. Still not seeing it for some reason. So dot z. I actually want to print this. Oh yeah, we got to do minus. Forgot about that. Not really. Let's do y dot magnitude. Okay, that works. That works. And then we can make it spin if we want to. I mean, if we hover over, we can probably enable spinning. So if we do a self dot, let's do a, down here, let's do a observer. So we're gonna do self dot underscore trove add observer dot observe. Actually, let's skip that for now. We don't need to do animations right now. It's a bit of a waste. Okay, so inventory GUI, done. Boom. We can get rid of this too. Archive that. Okay, so custom hotbar GUI. That would be the next thing. So, and I probably, actually before we start with that, I want to do like, so we can open the menu with G. Let's add a attribute here. String. Let's call this toggle keybind. I'll set that to E, or no, G. And then inside of our menu, we're going to listen to that. So we're going to say user input service. I'm actually going to add this to the trove. So we're going to self the underscore trove. Create that right there. And then we're going to say self the underscore trove. Add user input service dot input began connect function. Let's say if a 1, then return. Let's say if a 0, we're going to say if menu get attribute toggle keybind is equal to a0.keycode, then we're going to say self.menu or self.shown. We get local peak fusion.peak. To not peak self.shown. Perfect. And we're gonna say this needs to be a enum.keycode and then that. Let's do local toggle keybind. There we go. And also another thing we want to do, we don't want to show this button for mobile players, so I'm going to add a tag, call it ignore or hide for devices. Hide for non-keyboard. Boolean non-keyboard. Or we could call it hide for no keyboard. Boolean true. Let's create another tag. Visibility. Call it hide for device. Class hide for device. Let's call it objects, GUI objects. If object has tag, or no, get attributes, hide for no keyboard is true, then we're going to say object dot visible equals, actually we're going to do and not user input service dot keyboard enabled, then we're going to say object dot visible is going to be false. There we go. I'm going to say if, actually we're just going to keep that like so. Okay, did a bunch of stuff at once, but I hope we're good. So now I should be able to, I can now toggle my inventory with G. And if we, for example, switch over to our mobile device, I actually don't know if it's going to detect my keyboard either way. It does, okay. Let's see, hide for device. Let's print user input to keyboard enabled. Yeah. So it's detected my keyboard either way, but oh, okay. That time it did it. So yeah, it's working. On top of the menu. Nice, nice, nice. So that is the toggling. Like so. Perfect. Let's move on to the hotbar. Okay. Almost at 2 hours. So in the, I'm wondering if we should just have the toolbar as on a side. I think we're gonna do that. Let's do that. So let's call it create frame. Actually, I'm going to duplicate the left side, and we're just going to go ahead and remove the inventory button there. I'm going to call this bottom, 0.5 and then 1 on X, and 0.2 on Y. Perfect. Let's create a frame. And we want this to be aligned on the center and on the vertical at the bottom, just like so. So we're getting notifications. Okay, so size, I'll set that to 0.6 maybe, 0.5, and then 1 on the Y. Set back up transparency to 1. Let's call this the hotbar. And I should probably do this, these are going to be at finished, and this is going to be at progress. There we go, much better. Okay, the backdrop, let's copy that, paste it into here, keep it consistent. This is probably way too big though. Yeah, bit too big. So to put 9. So I did UI padding, bottom to 0.5. Oh god, there's also already padding. My bad. Padding left, don't need that. Padding bottom, 0.05. Let's do that. Nice. Okay, and then let's insert a frame. Background transparency to 1, size to 1, and then let's call it contents. Let's insert a UI list layout and a frame. And this is going to extend on the horizontal. We're gonna have the horizontal alignment on the center. See, how many items do you usually have in an inventory? Is it like 6? Maybe? Let's call this a slot. Let's add a UI aspect ratio to that. Set it to 1 on the Y. Maybe like 0.3 the X. And let's go ahead and make a... Actually, we can straight up have the backdrop here. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. So there we have 6. I think that's gonna be good actually. Oh god. I probably want that to be a bit smaller on the Y, not gonna lie. Let's see, vertical alignment is going to be center as well. Let's add some UI padding. Let's actually have them be 1 on the X, or 1 on the Y, I mean. Actually, that is looking pretty good already. Let's do 0.05. Ooh, not like that. And then the top as well. Okay, if I do 0.1, 0.1, and then scale in the hopper a bit, or the backdrop, and the contents, just the whole thing. Let's do 0.45, or 0.44 maybe, 0.43. There we go. Exactly. That's scaling a bit weird on the mobile device, so I might need to size. That is correct. That is correct. Huh. Forget to scale something? No. It's just a bit weird. What if we remove the aspect ratio on that? We can see that that needs a lot less on the x-axis there. Padding, left, bottom, left, 1, 2. So now on the mobile, yeah, there we go. That looks about right. What if we set this to like 5, 10? Yeah, then it's gonna scale a bit weird, so let's keep it like this. Maybe even a 0.03, no. 0.02 is good. And then for these slots, we're gonna need a label. And there we go. Tag that with 1. I'm just gonna have it say 1 for now. There we go. Okay. Let's now tag this with the hotbar menu. Or not hotbar menu. Actually, it would be a menu. Let's just have it like that. Why not? Oh yeah, we're gonna have a similar structure to our inventory item. So we're gonna have a item view, a interact, a name, and also actually just copy over this like that. And then we're gonna have the keybind here, so keybind, set that to Z index, just set it to 2. So for content and name, we'll type that 2. Something like that. That is gonna be good. So now, let's go ahead and go into the code. And let's create a new menu. Let's do one for the hotbar, a new category instead of menus. And let's create a new one called hotbar menu.lua. Let's create a class and call it hotbar menu. Let's insert the menu right here. So menu is going to be frame. If not, is a descendant, then return player. Perfect. We're gonna need the scope and the trove, I believe. Yeah. We actually, the only thing that the inventory is going to do is clone all of these and set an index to them. So this is up to false. And then we're going to get the local contents frame. It's going to be the menu, find first child, contents. We're just going to give out a frame. And then we're going to get the slot frames, like a slot template. Wait, what did I name that on the? No, not there. Okay, item template. Okay, let's call it slot template. Contents fabric child slot. It's going to give it back a frame. Let's go through. Let's actually create a hotbar config inside our systems. I'm going to create a hotbar folder and create a hotbar shared config. I'm going to use a class. No, not class. Local hotbar shared config. Return a blank table. We're going to say hotbar shared config dot constants. The table. Hotbar slot count. Set that to 6. Might change that later. Yeah. Constants. Let's just have that. Exactly just like that. Slot.name and the index dot frame dot order. The order is going to be the index as well. And we're going to say slot frame dot visible is true. Slot frame add tag hotbar slot, and then slot frame set attribute hotbar slot index to that. There we go. And so now I'm going to create a new tag for that. So hotbar slot, hotbar slots dot row class hotbar slot, and then we're going to get the slot frame. There's going to be a frame. Index, we get the index number. The item view. Yes. And we're actually going to also do slot frame set attribute item. Item key. Set that to nil for now. And quantity, set that to 0. Okay. And inside of our profile, not that, profile shared info, we're gonna create a hotbar table and that as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and observe that. I'm actually gonna cut this in. I'm gonna say local hotbar trove extend. And we're gonna need a default trove for that. So trove. Add that right here. And destroy that right here. So we're gonna do hotbar trove add, and then we're gonna say the profile client service observe profile data value for the hotbar, and then we're gonna say this right here, and then we're gonna do hotbar trove add slot frame, and then up here we're gonna clean it. Great, great, great. And this is going to be set to hotbar I. And we're going to need some kind of hotbar. Let's see here. Professional types. So here we have the inventory, and then we have the hotbar, which is going to be pointing. It's going to be a number pointing to a table. Inside of this table, let's actually have that as its own type. So hotbar slot data. We have the item key and the quantity. Exactly, just like that. So now we can say the item key, and here we can say the quantity. Yeah, we can say or. Ooh, let's just do this. And let's go in here. And also one thing we want to do is this keybind right here is also going to be hide for device, but we already have that. Okay, so let's observe the let's observe the item key. So I'm doing self.underscore trove.new. Self.underscore trove add, and then observer dot observe attribute for the instance, which is going to be a slot frame. Then we have the item key. Exactly. I'm gonna do self.underscore, actually let's do local item key. It's going to be equal to, and let's create a scope. So self.underscore scope, fusion scoped. Set item key. Exactly. Okay. And then we're gonna do this. So we're gonna find the quantity text, so local quantity label. Let's find that. So it's quantity label, quantity. Let's also get the local name label, partial name. Let's hydrate the name label. And here we're going to do a computed, so self-scope computed function use return use item key.name. So item shared config get item.name. And here we have the quantity. We need a scope or a computed there too. Great. Okay, nice. Let's actually wait. Why am I doing this? think we can actually just inventory item. Can we configure this maybe? No, because we're gonna have unique data for this later, so this is gonna be good for that. We do want the hovering part though. So I'm gonna take this right here, just steal that, put this over here. Boom. Oh, not like that. Interact button, we're gonna find that. Slot frame function. Interact. We're gonna get local on events. And yeah, that should be good. Hovering, yes. Yes. Let's set name visible false for now. Okay. It's up to index nil with item key. Line 45. Key. Oh. Hotbar, not item key. Right, that's because we don't have anything in our hotbar yet. So this is why, let's see here. We're gonna loop through our hotbar. So for index or index comma slot data in hotbar, and then we're gonna do that right there. And right now we're not gonna have anything. So we do actually want to loop through all these. We want to do local data. Slot data is going to be that. If slot data. Oh. Let's see. Okay. Set to item key. So I think, wait, is there something wrong with this? Set item key. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Alright, I'm back. Let's try to fix this issue. Kind of forgot what it was. Okay, yeah, so we're attempting to index nil with set. Let's print out name level software. Find. Oh my god. Let's print item key there. Yeah, so it's nil. So I think it's because it can't be nil if item key then. Let's try that. Do the same thing down here. Let's do local state here down here and set that to use quantity. X else we're gonna use. Yeah, exactly. If it's greater than 1, then we're gonna show that. Wow. Item quotation marks not found. There's a item key if state then return and not equal to that return. Okay. There we go. And we're also gonna do local keybind. So local keybind label is going to be slot frame for shell keybind, and we're gonna say let's do soft underscore hydrate. Text is going to be the. Let's go ahead and create a index. Let's observe that, set it, and set the text right there to the hotbar index or slot index, just like so. So now it should say, okay, 0 for some reason. Oh, okay, I see. We do want to set that always. I 47. I mean, that should always have a value. So that. Yeah, there we go. Now we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And next stream, I'm thinking that we make it possible to actually put items inside of the hotbar and actually be able to like switch them around and equip them and stuff. So this is what we did this stream. We did the custom hotbar GUI, we did the inventory GUI and inventory and picking up items. I'm happy with that. We are gonna set this to 18th and save. So now on the February 18th, we're gonna stream again and create that other stuff. All right, that's gonna be it for this stream. Thank you so much for watching. I know that there's not anybody else in here right now, but if somebody watches it after, then thank you. And thank you for the people that watched